I'd like to move to Lucia Elmi, Director of Emergency Programs for UNICEF, who's joining us from New York. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Good afternoon, dear colleagues, distinguished members of the committee, chair. Thank you for inviting me to speak again. Last time I briefed this committee, I was the special representative in Jerusalem, and since then I moved here, and the team has continued to remain on the ground together with the other colleagues of the humanitarian community. We often say that in Gaza there is nowhere left for the population, and this is double for children. At least 90% of the population has been forcibly displaced, and many of them several times. Half of them are children. Over 18 months of war, basic social services like electricity and running water have been decimated. Garbage has piled up. There is raw sewage in the street and an unknown amount of unexploded ordnance and explosive remnants of war. And children, yet, as they do all over the world, they continue to have the same dreams and the same needs: to go to school, to be safe, to play with their friends. They have the same rights. For months, water has been extremely scarce. Children are drinking water from unsafe sources, and parents lack the means to keep their children clean because of this. Lice, scabies, and diarrhea are rampant. We see repeated attacks on schools and hospitals. Among the sick grave violations that the Security Council is collecting every year. More than 645,000 students are deprived of schooling for the second consecutive year. Where children no longer attend school, they and their family they look for shelter in schools, and those are repeatedly attacked with high level of civilian casualties. Thousands of children have been killed, maimed, and suffer amputation, sometimes of several amputations in the very small and little bodies, and they will continue to bear disability for their entire lives. There are over 17,000 children who are still unaccompanied or separated from their families. The past 11 months have shown there is nowhere safe, not even what they are called the humanitarian safe zone. And we are experiencing a complete disregard of humanitarian law, including attacks on aid workers, the vehicle they travel in, and the supply lines and warehouses. After multiple efforts, and thanks to our colleagues on the ground and their bravery, together with WHO, UNRWA, and UNICEF, we managed to complete last week the first round in 3 batches of polio campaign, because unfortunately polio has returned to Gaza after many years, reaching almost 559,000 children under the age of 10. This has been unprecedented, and with tactical pauses in different areas, this has been possible, showing that is actually, when there is a political will, when there is a concerted effort by all parties to the conflict, it is possible to reach children. However, the shortage of aid entering continues. By daily volume, the amount of aid getting into Gaza has continued to drop by 59% since April. And in April, it was nowhere enough, as also my colleague from WFP has said. We're doing everything we can to avert a worsening humanitarian crisis. Despite many challenges and bottlenecks, we continue to provide, to the extent possible, recreational and mental health and psychosocial support to nearly 250,000 children and communities, humanitarian cash transfer to 750,000 people, medical health supplies for 250,000 people, and between 1 and 1.5 million people reaching every day with safe drinking water and sanitation. But it's not enough. Children in Gaza need peace now. Food insecurity, food poverty, malnutrition are continuing to threaten the life of children, and particularly women and pregnant women, with over 96% of the total population of Gaza facing high level of food insecurity, and 50,000 children at risk of severe acute malnutrition. Children also need aid in volume, scale, and in a predictable way, and all possible crossings need to continue to be open and maintained open. Ultimately, children in the region need an end of the war. We continue to call on all parties, and we are continuing to repeat it to do, and those with influence over them, to prioritize an immediate and sustained humanitarian ceasefire, the end of the hostilities, the return of the hostages. We will continue to provide information on the situation of children, both in Gaza and the West Bank, and really count on your advocacy, because all possible efforts are continued to be leveraged to bring peace back to the region. I thank you.